This is the latest Remnant fly. This is kind of a steelhead pattern. And going through my gear, I found this salmon hook right here. Just thought about doing kind of a colorful steelhead pattern. If you don't know what the Remnant flies are, I refer you to the description down below. There's a link to the intro video on what these flies are. They're basically freestyle flies made up of small remnants of material that I have. Like I said, this is kind of a steelhead pattern, little hot spot to it, and a bright, well, not necessarily bright, but a purple collar. Just thinking about some more traditional steelhead patterns, and all of this kind of evolved, and that's what we ended up with. So that's the latest Remnant fly. I'll get started tying. I'm going to start the next Remnant fly with my hook in the vise. This is, model number, don't know, Tiemco 7999, probably in a size 8, maybe. There's a Mustad version 2. If I find it, it'll be down in the description down below, but it's standard salmon, black salmon fly hook. I'm going to start this by putting my thread on. This is a Danville 6/0 in black. I'm going to start about an eye length behind the eye of the hook and run my thread down to the end of the shank here. This one started off with this hook looking at the materials and things like this, and immediately started developing into a kind of a steelhead salmon type thing. So the first thing I'm going to tie in, I'm not going to put a tag on this, but I'm going to put a butt in of some fluorescent orange chenille. That's what I was thinking, something orange. Kind of a green but skunky thing was coming up to mind, while at the same time not wanting to make a green butt skunk. So I got the orange out. I'm going to attach that, and I'm going to twist that up just a little bit here to tighten that up a little. And then I'm going to get probably 2 turns back here. 2 tight turns right in front of one another, just to make a little bit of a hot spot here. That's all I'm looking for, is just to make a little bit of a hot spot. This is going to be a real straightforward fly in terms of, you got a butt. I'm going to put a gold tinsel, maybe a silver tinsel rib in here. This is probably a size 14 Danville Mylar tinsel. I think I'm going to stick with silver. So I'm going to tie this in with the gold side up. And then I'm going to put in a black chenille body. I'm going to put in a wing, and then a quick collar, and that's really it. So there's the rib. I've got some black, probably a small, maybe a medium, probably a medium chenille here. This is a Rayon chenille. I'm going to tie this in, bring that down, tight up against that orange butt right there, and then bring this all forward to the end of the body right there. Attach my hackle pliers. I'm going to twist up that chenille just to tighten it up, get a little bit more round. And then I'm going to wrap that forward, make the body. Cut away the excess chenille and bind down the rest of that. And then put my rib in. Four to five turns maybe. Skinny kind of rib. It may or may not show up too well because of the chenille. It might even get buried in it. But 3, 4, 5. Maybe a thinner chenille? No. Maybe a thinner rib is what I'm thinking about. Clean this area up a little bit, and we're going to put in a hackle. Now this is going to be kind of interesting because it wasn't what I was originally looking for. I was looking for just like a regular black rooster saddle hackle. But in the process of doing this, I ran across some of these nice tip ends of Schlappen. And I thought, wouldn't it be kind of nice to maybe match up a couple of these? So I've got 2 feathers here. Put those concave side down and match those up kind of in size and profile and tie that in as a wing just to see what it does. I think what it's going to do is kind of break up and just flow backwards, but that's fine because that's what a lot of wings end up doing when you tie them in. I'm going to shorten that up just a little bit. I'm going to tie that in and secure it right on top. Kind of interesting. I mean, this is definitely going to sweep down this way and probably all separate under the water, but it'd be kind of interesting to see. I wonder what I'm wondering is if I could separate these a little. Get them going down both sides a little bit here. Kind of like that. Nope, he kind of popped back up, didn't they? Okay, well, we'll just leave that. They both just kind of popped back up there. I don't know, kind of interesting. Here, they're kind of cockeyed, so I'll put them back up the way I had them before. Sometimes that's what you do with these flies, especially when you're tying something either you haven't done or looks kind of curious and not certain if the material will do what you want it to do, which is kind of the point of a lot of these flies. It's just to experiment. There we go. So then I figured it would be nice to throw in a collar, and I'm just going to throw in a Schlappen, purple Schlappen collar here. So I'm going to isolate the tip on this a little bit, not quite out by the tip, a little bit further down. I'm going to tie that in, a couple of wraps, hold it back, get a couple more wraps, and advance forward about halfway down or so. can then remove the tip. Get my hackle pliers out. Grab that hackle and start palmering that in, or I should say, just collaring it in. Two, three. I don't mind if these are going to be kind of long. Again, steelhead patterns like these, you kind of go with a lot of that long, flowy material. Flowy, is that a word? Actually, we're going to go 5. Okay, so I'll secure that in and sweep all this back. And I will manage to get my thread on top of that a little bit. Not so much to get it pointing rearward as much as just to secure it. That won't break off, so I'll cut it off. Trim that little nub off there and smooth this off, and then I will put in a whip finish. Now, just for grins, I will probably put some black lacquer on this just to see how it looks. Smooth off and gloss up that head a little bit on this. But if you tie some of these, you certainly don't have to. But kind of interesting. I would be interested in seeing this in the water and see what this wing does. I imagine it's going to flutter around more than just kind of, lay back skinny. Who knows? It's Schlappen. I've never tied in Schlappen like that as a wing type thing like that. It would be kind of neat. Now that I think about it, is get a black hackle or two to tie in there and then use just the Schlappen tips as kind of a cheek. That would be interesting to do. So anyway, that is the latest Remnant fly, kind of a steelhead pattern. Something to think about, maybe try. Wonder if that big old wing on there might even do well for smallmouth. Never know. Thanks for watching today.
Thanks for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned at least a new pattern, if not a new technique, maybe a tip or trick here and there. If you have any questions about this fly or any of the techniques used in constructing this pattern, please leave them in the comments section down below. If you go to the trouble to ask a question, I'll go to the trouble to answer it. If you'd like to help dressed irons, please share this video with your friends and anybody you think that might enjoy this pattern. Until next time, remember, it's fly tying. If you're not having fun, then you're doing it wrong.